Hank here with my review of the Saramonic MV-Mixer audio interface. Inside the box, of course, you get the MV-Mixer, a nicely branded USB-C to USB-A cable, not one, but two 1/8" to 1/4" adapters. Saramonic thought ahead and included the adapters for your monitor out ports. You also get the manual, other documentation and warranty information, plus stickers. At the time of this recording, the Saramonic MV-Mixer retails for $99.99 US. I got it for $89.99 US. One side note, the Saramonic MV-Mixer has not officially been launched in North America yet, even though it's been widely available for quite a few weeks now. Later in the video, I have a theory as to why that could be important. Build-wise, the MV-Mixer has a solid alloy case with an intelligent design and slick lighting. The headphone and monitor out knobs have zero wobble. However, both gain knobs have an ever so slight give to them. Specs-wise, the interface comes in at 24-bit with a sample rate up to 192 kilohertz. The two combo inputs are capable of handling both line level and instrument sources. The microphone inputs have a dynamic range of 110 A-weighted and a total harmonic distortion of less than 0.005%. The noise EIN is negative 20 dBu and a gain range of 48 dBu. On the front of the device, you have the two combo jacks. You have the two gain knobs for those combo jacks. You have two rubber buttons that will let you switch between line and instrument. On the right side, you have a little light that indicates when you're connected via USB. You have a rubber button and indicator for input or playback. When set to input, you hear yourself back with zero latency monitoring. When set to playback, you hear the playback coming from the computer or software you're using. Next to that, you have a headphone knob. Underneath, you have the 1/4" headphone jack. And all the way to the right, you have the monitor knob. Each of the knobs are equipped with really slick lighting that as you turn it, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter to indicate the strength. And they kept the lines on each of the knobs so you always know where you're at volume-wise. On the back of the device, really not much to it. A USB-C port, and then right and left 1/4" outputs. On the bottom, you have some excellent rubber feet that give you good grip to the desk. Software-wise, if you're using Windows 10 or on a Mac, it says it's just plug and play. But if you're on Windows 7, there is a driver that you can download. Now, I was tempted to try to install the driver on one of my Windows 10 machines, but I just never got up the courage to do so. This entire time, you've been hearing me on the MV-Mixer with the Zoom ZDM1, my favorite budget microphone. You know what has to happen. We have to try to push the Shure SM7B to an acceptable level of volume. Initially, when I saw the 48 dB of gain, I was pretty skeptical. And so I plugged it in, and I think it drives the Shure SM7B very well. I would say that I'm at 9 out of 10. When you get to 9.5, you start to get a little bit of preamp static. That's about 9.5, and that's really getting into the danger zone of being towards my peaks being towards clipping. And then if you go to 10, I'll back off the mic a little bit to try to keep it consistent. But when you go to 10, it just adds way too much preamp noise. With any budget interface, you're going to get that when you step from 9.5 to 10 or 9 to 10. You get that added noise. It's pretty bad. But you see, we just barely back off the gain, just barely. I mean, just a slight turn, and that noise goes away, and you're still getting good signals. If you've never watched Julian Krause's video on A to D conversion, which points out that gain range is not always the best indicator on being able to drive a microphone like this. Check that out. I'll put a link in the description for that video. Now, let's test the MV-Mixer with high impedance headphones. Okay, listening back to a YouTube video and then some music, yes, these are able to be driven easily by the MV-Mixer and sounds really good. Pros wise, I would have to say at the top of the list is the build quality. This thing is put together really nice. The design is extremely intuitive. I love how it's set up. It is a beautiful piece of equipment. And also when you dig into the functionality, so when you push down on the gain knob, a long push turns on 48 volts phantom power. That's just well thought out to me. When you twist the knobs, the lights get brighter, 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 brighter. That is well thought out to me. Having independent headphone and monitor out volume knobs, having the rubber buttons where you can select between features, that is also well thought out. Another pro, you're looking at it, it pushes the SM7B to an acceptable range in my opinion. And the preamp is really quiet. It appears to perform much better than the rating in the documentation until you get to that 9.5 to 10 range, and then the noise ramps up. Being 24-bit, having a sample rate of up to 192 kilohertz, that is definitely an excellent pro, especially for the musically inclined out there. Which I mentioned earlier, the lighting cues, very well done. And having the ability at the press of a button to turn off monitoring yourself back, very cool. My cons list is very limited, but at the top of that cons list, what I'm going to keep reiterating until these manufacturers start to listen is the ability to mute each channel. And here's how I would solve it. When you press down the gain button for a long enough press, you get the white ring around the combo jack, which indicates 48 volts phantom power. However, if you could just push the knob in slightly, just a quick push, and the ring around the knob go from green to red to show it's muted, that would send this absolutely over the top. Another con people are going to clamor about, unless things change for the North American release, there's not a dedicated driver unless you're on Windows 7. But in this day and age, people really want to have drivers specifically for your unit, especially musicians. Plug and play is great, but having that ability to have a custom driver, that could have been really good too. However, my theory, and I hope I'm correct on this, is maybe for the North American launch, could it be possible that they're going to add a driver? And the only other con is what I stated earlier. When you go from 9.5 to 10, that preamp noise gets really, really rough, as with any budget audio interface, so it's no surprise to me. Printed on the back of the device and on their little stickers, it says Saramonic, sound remarkable. And they've done just that. I can't possibly convey to you just how much I like this MV-Mixer by Saramonic. They make great wireless gear. I know that from filmmaking. And now a podcast or music audio interface that is just excellent in this sub $100 category, in my opinion. I am blown away by the MV-Mixer by Saramonic. Be sure to sign up for my gear newsletter, as I've been talking about this for the last 2 months on the newsletter, alluding to it. I have been in communication with Saramonic as well. They were going to send me one, but it was going to be later on. And the device has just been readily available for a while now, so I just went ahead and bought it, and I am very glad I did. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the newsletter. As always, thank you.